Hi, this is John Hillbrands. Today I'm going to show you how to install this pivotable cutting board, or we could call it an extension to your countertop, because that's essentially what it is. When you have a small kitchen like ours, you run out of counter space pretty easily. So this is perfect for when you want to put your turkey somewhere out a little bit. I chose to use an 1.5 inch thickness so that it's pretty much flush with my countertop. I do have it a little further back so that it's not sticking out when it's folded down, because I have this overhang on my counters. I still can, by the way, walk by to use my door. If you do have a situation where you have your door, these 19-inch wide cutting boards, I would say it's almost half the width of the door. And you can, if you'll probably have the same layout, you can see that you can still open your cupboard. So perfect way of extending your counter without really losing anything. Of course, most of the time they're going to be hinged down. Let me show you how that's installed. All right. Okay, so this is from Costco. It's a 19-inch by 23-inch cutting board, and it's an 1.5 inch thick. It's teak. It was $55. And these are hinges, which say they'll support 300 pounds, or 500 pounds actually. So quite a bit of strength here if they're screwed into something pretty strong. We know that this is pretty strong. It's teak. So in fact, my screws had a hard time to keep from rounding because I was using Phillips. And that's an interesting point. I think I would rather them have had a star driver, because those tend to bite better. But let me show you the biggest trick about this. So I have nice thick plywood here. So this is really strong. If you don't have plywood and you have a press board, a cabinet, I would put a inside piece of wood on the inside of your press board, so when it screws through the first layer of press board, then it'll go into the next part will be like an 1 by 2 inch piece of poplar or something, some type of little hardboard, and then when you screw it in through the press board, it'll then go into the hardwood. I was going to do that, but I didn't need to because it was so strong. But you can see you have a big gap here between this and the drawer, so we easily could have filled that if we needed to. All right, so that's one issue solved. The next one is, how do you do this? Well, I put the first screw in by marking and then putting it down and then drilling the hole. But to screw them in, you can see that you'd have to do it by hand because you really can't fit your drill. But there's an interesting system of things we got with our drill. So this is called there's a set of 3 of these at Harbor Freight, and they're only like $6, but they basically convert your drill into a socket driver. So you can use your socket set essentially. And this is an extension for a 1/4 inch socket set. And these Phillips fit into, so look how easily I could go forever. So obviously I could easily drive that screw or that screw. I didn't need it that long. I think I only did it with this part and then this part. Let's see how far that reached. Actually, no, I guess I did need that extension. And then the interesting thing about pre-drilling, this drill bit can also be, you can also get drill bits with the same kind of a socket bottom, so they will fit as well. And again, that was at Harbor Freight too. So you can see how easily we can drill through. I guess I need to use the longer extension, but you can see how that would work. We would just be able to drill there. So all I did was do the pre-drilling of the first hole, then I screwed it in, and then I put this on top, and I installed it while it was sitting on top. So it's pretty easy. You'll notice that I use the tape method to keep from going through, but the problem with the tape method is it's very easy to go past. So you can actually use a stop gauge, but if you do use the tape method, make sure that you stop right when you get to the tape. I have 1.5 inch thickness, so I got 1.25 inch screws. So there's no way the screw will go through the top. So that's a couple of interesting things that make things work well. And I think showing you that and giving you a link to these products, I think you're good to go. Let me show you just how easy this is. So essentially push that one and that one, and then this just closes. And because I have that nice overhang, it goes pretty flat. But you can also see there's a gap here, but when it's open, this is pushed right up to the top. I didn't really leave a gap so that this would be on top of it, still flush. So this was pushed up in the open position, and then I was screwed it in, and that's how it works. Let me show you a couple of the other space-saving ideas I have in this kitchen. Let me first put this down, and we can look around. All right, so if you have a small kitchen, a few of these ideas might help you. Some of them are pretty easy. Let's start over on this side. Magnetic spice racks. If your wife does a lot of cooking, this is basically free space. If your refrigerator is bigger than its opening, you can have this in. We have a nice little coffee tea bar. So she again has a 3-tier tea set. I put magnets on the back of this wooden tray so I can push it over without worrying about it falling in the gap. So just little stick-on ones. Over here, we have the standard paper towel rack holder. Two-sided tape does not work. You'll have to screw it in the bottom of the cabinet. Not that big a deal though. One of these nice little things to hold your onions and cooking things you need near the stove, like garlic and stuff. Over here, little Lazy Susan for our salsas. So we tend to have some things handy there. A real narrow utensil holder, 3 sections, 4 sections. So you can get all of those sections. This is a little bar to hang things on. You'll also notice I have a video on this, and that's how to build pull-out trays. I actually have one that goes that way, so it's actually a hidden treatment, so you can look on how to build those if you're interested in. I put this countertop, this is a solid surface countertop, and I have a video on how to install that, so it makes it look a lot prettier than it once was. And then I built this buffet a long time ago. I don't have a video on that. I think it was even before I did YouTube, but I recovered it with some more of that countertop material. Bread storage works really well for holding at the end of the cabinet. Little snack basket. My wife likes to make tea and have it around. So that's basically a nice little kitchen and a few little storage ideas that may get you going. I think my wife might even have some in her cupboard. Yeah, she has one of these rolling containers that works really well, a basket. Over back there she has a double-decker holder for cans. So a lot of things can make your little kitchen work better for your house. We've been here 30 years. We have to paint these cabinets. At one time I was going to go all black, but we didn't like it, so we didn't finish. I think we're going to paint it a different color, and so that's, maybe watch a video on how to do that when we get to it. If some of these space-saving ideas help you, especially the one that I'm profiling, the countertop extension or the folding cutting board, Give me a thumbs up and a like. I appreciate it. And good luck with your project. Thanks for watching.